I gotta get out of here. I think I'm gonna lose it.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
You get your ass kicked saying something like that, man.
I'm gay.
I'm a lesbian.
I am actually pansexual.
I am transgender.
I just want to suck a dick to see what it tastes like.
Trying to find, taking a stand for the uncaged mind. Off the hip, we fire, fire. Talking truth till wires, tires. Games and wars, we won't conspire. Off the hip, we light the pyre. Just to fall, culture clash and break the walls. Podcast echoes free of all. Controllers clutch, knuckles white. ABF and friends in the late night fight. Virtual realms where freedom's tight. Battling walls, here we all on right. Off the hip, we fire, fire. Talking truth till wires, tires. Games and wars, we won't conspire. The pyre.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome into episode 30 of Off the Hip with the Norman Conquest. I know, right? I can't believe it either, but I'm back. ABF is off being a yobbo in Utah right now, so the duty falls to me to host right now. In the news this week, after handing in his resignation to the White House, with his McDonald's resume, the White House decides to adopt a new one-in, one-out policy with McDonald's. Isn't that just nice? Mr. Elon Musk has taken his assignment to restructure the government just a bit too literally, I think. No, I won't lie. And after their stunning defeat last week, the White Dudes for Harris movement rebrands under a new name.
Oh,
man.
Jealousy does not suit you, sir.
Jealousy? Is that really what the meme is about? I don't think so. But yes, I would like to start tonight by saying thank you to the rest of the panel and to most of you out in the audience. As today we celebrate and remember all the millions of people that gave their lives in pursuit of justice and liberty and the things we hold dear, so that people like us could grow up, say what we want, do what we want, whatever we like, love who we want. And last week, all of you guys across the pond decided to continue that legacy of all those veterans by voting for truth, voting for freedom, and protecting your republic. So I would just like to say a thank you to all of you. Give yourselves a round of applause, pat on the back, whatever you like. You have preserved justice and truth in all that is the world. But without further ado, let's get into the intros. So Hayden Wayne joining us in reality this week.
Yes. This week I am IRL. I am Hayden Wayne 75. I post hot takes on Twitter and hang out here on Off the Hip and on Late and Gay with the GCA every Wednesday. And occasionally I make YouTube videos, but only occasionally. Malty, what's up, man?
How's it going? I am in the middle of a huge move, a lot of things changing. However, nothing with the GCA is changing for the worse. For the better, though. Stay tuned for that. Mo, I'm going to take it down to you.
Yes.
Oh, curveball. Well, hello. And yes, thank you. I am lucky enough to be friends with lots of veterans. My father was a veteran. And whenever we get to do this funny stuff, like just mess around and talk with a bit. No, Jana. Maybe when we monetize, but we get to do this goofy stuff because we have people fighting for our freedom, keeping us safe, keeping us free. So don't think for 1 second that I don't take that for granted. So thank you for people like Lady Gravemaster and everybody else that gave up 4 years of their prime to help protect us. So thank you.
Yes.
Heading down to Nagano, how are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing really good today. Got up early, worked out, did a bunch of stuff around here, streamed a little bit, and now I'm here.
Very good, very good. What was it? You're playing Control tonight, wasn't it?
Yeah, trying to get through that. I feel like it's a really kind of underrated game, although
Yeah, it is.
I can almost see why now that I'm replaying again after the past like 8 years or whatever. It's like there's a lot of female characters in the game, and a lot of the male characters kind of are just like
I apologize.
It's whatever. It's for the gameplay. It's really good. You're like floating around. You got like telekinesis and this gun that shifts into like different weapons. It's really sick.
Nice. Jumping over to Nerd Slap. Thanks for the intro for our gaming podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, no problem, man. Just
How
good.
you
Been good. Just been working on, the intro and streaming over on my Kick channel. Working on some stuff for the Nerd Files. We got episode 2 in the books. Working on getting that edited and put up. But other than that, just off the hip and happy to be here.
Very nice. And welcoming to the show, Isaac556x45. How are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me tonight. I had a very successful day, thinking of all our veterans that sacrificed a lot, and in some cases everything, for everything we have, and very grateful for all of them. So happy to be here, and hope we can honor them tonight. So thank you.
And saluting tonight our special guest, the self-proclaimed weaponized autist of nerdrotic.com, Lady Gravemaster. Welcome to Off the Hip.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for such a warm welcome. I appreciate it. So, chat, hello. How art thou? I hope you all are good. I appreciate you guys having me here. I know that, so here in the States, it's Veterans Day. But we know that, and then worldwide, we were always taught that it's Armistice Day is what we celebrate. And I think I'm like 186th. Jana, does that count?
It counts.
I could make a really off-color joke, but are you monetized yet?
Let's wait till we pass the 15-minute mark.
I was going to say, maybe wait for that one. I appreciate the invite. Thanks for having me. And it's a privilege to be here. Thank you so much.
What do you think of the intro?
I freaking love that intro. That was so great. I love I was chuckling. It was so good. So good.
Nice.
Thank you.
Well, I thought we'd start with a fun one tonight. This came out just a couple of days ago. If you've maybe one of your favorite movies, I don't know. 43 monkeys escaped South Carolina research facility. Police warn residents to secure doors and windows. Authorities in South Carolina on Thursday warned residents to lock their doors. Let's get into that. After more than 40 monkeys escaped from a research facility. As of Friday morning, the fugitive monkeys still had not been captured. The CEO of the research facility told CBS News. The 43 primates broke loose from the Alpha Genesis facility in Beaufort County, prompting officials to set up traps and use thermal imaging cameras in an effort to locate and capture the monkeys. The Yemassee Police Department said in an update posted to social media late Thursday, police said the primates had been spotted in a woodland region near the facility and urged residents to steer clear of the animals. The staff at Alpha Genesis is currently attempting to entice the animals back using food in order to ensure their safe capture. I believe as of a couple of days ago, around half of the monkeys have been rounded up. But panel, what's your thoughts on this? Planet of the Apes is on the way.
I just wonder, using the thermal cameras to find them, how many of them did they find fucking?
All of them, obviously.
Well, especially for the pictures in this article. like it shows a lot of them like big spooning and little spooning. I'm just like, how many of them were actually in coitus? And that's how that heat
I knew
generates.
this was coming.
Yeah, the CEO made a comment, said, while they have not been captured, the monkeys are staying close to the facility and are being goofy monkeys jumping back and forth, playing with each other. So it seems like they just want a bit of space more than anything. More like a playground.
The question is, what was being done to these monkeys? And is this something that we legitimately need to worry about?
So
or is it just like they're just goofy monkeys? When the government says goofy, I think there's a problem.
So
well, you got to
most
understand.
likely,
sorry, Mo, cut you off. Lady G, yes?
No, you're good. Most likely because they're in South Carolina and it's bioresearch services across the globe. They are probably. Have you guys ever? Because the panel is so full of women. Have you guys ever looked at like a makeup tube or even shampoo and it says no animal testing?
Yes.
That is probably these monkeys are probably most likely used for like burn creams or like different types of topical ointments or stuff like that, because if 43 of them were able to get out, there's no way that it's a class 1 lab, because animals don't just get out of those labs. That's like a high security prison. It just doesn't happen, especially not 43 of them. So it's likely not something very dangerous.
It says here, according to its website, AlphaGenesis breeds monkeys and provides non-human primate products and bioresearch services across the globe. The company's clinical trials reportedly include research on progressive brain disorders.
Yep.
So there you go.
So I would to talk about RF's comment. Yeah, if they work their way into the middle of South Carolina, all them people that live in them cabins and shit, those monkeys are gonna be on spit roasts. And I mean like
Moving
ones over
targets.
actual fire, because rural South Carolina don't mess around. All right.
I'm sorry. Are we talking about primates with brain disorders that have been released out onto the public? That sounds like an issue to me.
No, we're talking about the people that live in central South Carolina. Okay, yes.
But they're all inbred and fucked in the head anyway, so it's just going to be the scene from Temple of Doom.
So maybe they'll just think it's like their second cousin walking up.
Could be.
Hey, you never
Yeah,
know.
but they're gonna be like, "Why are you so clean? Why does your hair look so good?" Because they're testing shampoo on them. They look fab. They're fabulous.
Why is the back end so
It's
far?
like full and luscious. I cut it off. Well, that's a
I think
strategy.
Deliverance was a documentary, I think.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely.
Well, apparently this is the second escape attempt. The monkeys have escaped from AlphaGenesis before. Years ago, 19 primates escaped from the company's facility, but were recaptured about 6 hours later.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is not a high security. Like, they can't be doing anything that dangerous, because where you would be concerned, most of those labs are like on an island or in the middle of the desert, like in an extremely hostile natural environment. Bye, Dana. Because on the off chance that something does get out, I mean, if you're in the middle of the Nevada desert and it's 100 miles to the next source of water, like odds are actually the animal will return back to the lab on its own.
And that's the thing people don't understand about these sort of low security facilities, is that the apes, they'll take like little stones or sort of, high density sticks, and they'll keep them aside as tools. Maybe I can pry this door open. Maybe I can get at the top of the cage or something.
Yeah.
Like Planet of the Apes, like generally as a documentary, that is how an ape would
Because
escape.
the primates learn.
Yeah.
Like, they're not stupid animals. They're some of the smartest animals, and they're able to learn and adapt. And so if they found a way out, kudos to them.
I decided to share this. This is what this needs to be on the resume of people rounding up these monkeys.
There you go.
If they have not played this game, you are not on the team.
You need make sure they have the big giant bird net too.
Yes.
And a dual shock analog controller. First of its kind.
Okay, so maybe it's just because I'm super nostalgic, but honestly, I think that like N64 and PS1 and PS2 games and even like OG Xbox have got such I mean, that's where all of these IPs that are now worth millions, if not billions of dollars. They all started like on those consoles.
Yep.
And
did you see that in 2025, Nintendo is releasing a new N64 that's upscaled to 4K?
4K. I did see that, but Community Notes was underneath it, and it's from a third party. It's not
Nintendo.
That makes sense.
It's
Yeah,
not
so-
Nintendo.
So
But it's
I'm
like
this is in my
$350.
wheelhouse.
I'm like,
it's by
I'm paying that.
Analog, who makes FPGA consoles,
Yeah.
which mimic the actual chipset of the original consoles.
cool.
So they're 1-to-1. They'll play everything. They'll do the super effects. They'll do all the weird video modes and stuff like that. But what it does is it allows it to channel it through digital output, and it also allows you to put in they release it like, oh, we won't let you put ROMs in here, and then all of a sudden 2 weeks later somebody that's not from the company releases the ROMs. But
there we go.
Yeah,
$250.
amazing.
What do we think about that price?
I think it's a great price for an upscaling and a remodeled controller, and like I think it's. I'm gonna buy one.
I think I am. I think I am sad that
I'm definitely planning on it for sure. Star Fox 64.
Bring
absolutely.
it down to at least
Oh,
200. Even
Star
then,
Fox.
like I can just emulate all this shit on my PC for free. So.
That's
It's not the same. It is.
It's not, but I mean that console isn't the same as an N64. It doesn't even
you know
have
what
a
I
controller.
missed?
Controller.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you guys ever? Okay, so like growing up, I didn't have, we didn't have cable and we didn't have game systems. I'd have to go to like my cousin's house or like my best friend's house for that. But like my cousins, when I got a little bit older, we would do like, there would be like 9 of us, and we'd have 2 TVs right next to it. You remember the big, when flat screen was first a thing, but the screen was just flat, but it still had the huge box
The big
behind
box,
it.
yeah.
And it weighed like 600 pounds. So we had 2 of those because like my one cousin would, he was older, he was 17, and he had bought one. And so he took it and brought it over to my other cousin's house. And so we would sit there and we would play like OG Mario Party.
Nice.
And so there'd be like 4 of us on one screen and 4 on the other, and then whoever won, you'd like play each other against 2 NPCs. Oh, it was good times.
those TVs were a bitch to move by yourself. Like with the old TVs, the weight was just distributed evenly, but it's like with the new ones, all the weight's falling at the back of it. So you're just
But you
Very
do not have
awkward.
to tell me. I was a home theater installer during the crossover between tube TVs.
Oh, boy.
Holy shit, dude! And people wonder why I grunt when I get up. It hurts, man.
Oh.
And even then, a 60-inch TV weighed 200 pounds, and people are like, "I want it
Yes.
above the fireplace."
Mhm.
It's like, cool.
My dad has one of the Sonys. It's like massive.
Yes.
Fucking
My
200 pounds. Yeah, at
my
least.
grandpa, God bless him, he's 94. He still lives by himself. He still has. Do you guys remember the big wood frame TVs?
Yes.
He has one of those. So it's on the wooden stand that has like that perfect inlet cut so that you can access all the cables on the bottom of the TV, and you can open it up and get the tubes out because it is literally still a tube TV.
Yeah.
And he still has it. I'm like, Grandpa. And he's
Oh, that's
like, he's like, what? He's like, I got plenty of tubes. He goes, I don't need to be wasting money on a new TV. This one works just fine. And I was like, all right, Grandpa.
I'm dead.
Legend.
I feel him.
Dead straight. Lady Gravemaster, he could probably sell that thing for more than what he paid
Oh,
for it.
oh.
Because
Yeah.
people
Oh,
that are,
easily.
because now the people like us, they're looking for tube TVs. If we can get a wood console TV in my area, there's a few that sell them. They're just like $400, $500, and people are like willing to pay it. Yeah.
Yeah. They're
Seriously.
several $100s. And the thing is, like, those TVs, they have less of a input delay
Yep.
than you get on a modern day TV if you hook up an old console to it.
Yep.
I may or may not have a tube TV.
Oh wow.
Oh.
Nice.
Mo. Yeah, it's so funny because we were at my grandpa's a couple years ago, and like the TV kind of started to flicker, and one of my kids was like great grandpa, and he comes in, he's like, what? And they were like, it's doing this weird thing. And one of my kids was like, oh, is it broken? And my grandpa was like, nope. He came over and he just like whacked the shit out of the top of it. and it went back to it. It was fine.
Oh, 127.
And then
Smack 'em
yes, and then my oldest was like, "Oh, can we do that the next time our TV does that?" I said, "No, we can't. Our TV is not like no, you'll break it
Your TV
more."
will break.
Yep.
I was just going to say, I think we all remember the classic of our dad having that fucking 6-story hi-fi with the record player on top and then CDs, tapes, and just everything going down. Like,
It's amazing. Like people are. I'm not news to anybody here. I am like an absolute nerd and a dork. I have watched. Really? I've watched like I've watched like hours of people building those. Like now they're like 17, 18, 22-year-old kids, and they're like, I saw this picture, and my dad had like all of his stuff. It was just everything had a slot, and it fit perfectly, and it was great. And so like now they're trying to like build them, and I was like, oh look, we're coming back around.
That's how it works.
Yeah, we are.
Yep.
We are. I mean that.
Oopsie.
That's vinyl right
Yep.
there. That box. Like vinyl is making a comeback, and I think that physical media will end up making a comeback as well.
Oh, totally.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's on the way back. Yeah.
And it's coming. It's coming back with a vengeance, because ever since, I can't remember if it was Netflix or if it was Steam, but they literally said like, you do not own what you've purchased.
Yeah, it was
Like,
Steam.
It was Steam. Yeah,
Well,
Ubisoft.
Ubisoft said it first, and then
Yeah.
Steam just said it like a couple weeks later.
That's
Yeah.
because California changed the law, so now they are legally required to put that in their.
Yeah.
So whenever you buy the game, it says you do not own this product.
Yeah, you are essentially, you purchased a license access agreement. You did not purchase the game, so you do not own the game. And everybody was like, "You've got," and that happened right after Xbox announced it was going to get rid of the drives. Like now it's just going to be a solid state console is what they wanted to go with. And then the backlash was so bad, it was worse than Apple making you buy an attachment so you could listen to your headphones from your phone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
It's
Physical
wild.
media is where it's at. There's no
I
competition.
lose one of those attachments every other week. Because I don't know how many are calling around this room right now.
So I am a huge old physical media person, and I own I have mini disc tape, and I just shared a picture. This is a tape player that I saved from recycling. I bought it for $15. It's from 1971. This thing.
Oh, very
nice.
Oh wow.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Nice.
All it
That
needed
is
was
beautiful.
new belts.
That's awesome.
I just put in
That looks
some new
clean
rubber
as
belts.
well. Yeah.
Oh,
That's nice.
All the yeah. And by the way, if you listen to tapes on this thing, you understand why they lasted until the mid 90s. It is beautiful. They sound amazing.
That's
So-
cool.
Absolutely.
Except in the 70s. So, sorry, go ahead, lady.
You're fine.
When you go multi.
Oh, I was going to say, so you said that was from 71, right? Or did I miss
Yeah.
here?
71 or
Yeah.
73.
So were they, when did the 8 tracks transfer over into cassettes? Or are you talking about an 8-track player?
No, that's a tape player. That's a cassette tape player. That was at the beginning of cassette tapes. That's where the Dolby noise cancellation started coming in. 8 tracks were popular in cars and stuff like that. They kept them in cars. Like they would play them all the time because they could just you could run over potholes or be on the surface of the moon and it wouldn't skip, and it was and the mechanics of it were really easy. There wasn't much you could do. You had to play through it and you had to switch tracks, but 8 tracks were just easy to make. They were bigger pieces of media. Cassettes were not easy to master at that point. So that was right when they had the technology was good and the head mechanism in the I'm going into the weeds here.
You're fine. This is awesome.
Yeah, I buy 8 tracks for my sister all the time. She has a stereo cabinet, the one where you pull it out.
Yes.
And yes, she got one that was made. It was 50 years old too, and it sounds so much more amazing. Like analog audio sounds so much better than digital
good.
audio.
Oh, it does.
That's what my grandfather used in his workshop for years. 8-track whole console thing. It sounded fantastic. I loved it.
My cousin, he has this diner closed this diner closed down, and they had one of those vinyl jukeboxes, and it had all the vinyls in it, but it had stopped working. They were like, yeah, we can't get it to play. And he was like, well, like, how much do you want for it? And they were like, $50. Like, it doesn't work. And he was like, okay.
Hell yeah, $50.
$50. All he had to, he knew exactly what was wrong. So my whole family is like super mechanical minded. Yeah, he took it back to my uncle, his dad's workshop. He popped open the back and literally he knew exactly what was wrong with it. He had to replace one wire that had been known to like burn out, and then it played just fine. And my uncle and my grandpa shared the shop. They had the wire, so he just had to cut it and solder it correctly. It took him like 30 minutes.
That genuinely is like the solution to most of these like analog tech problems. It's either a fuse or a little bit of cable that needs replaced, and then you're golden.
Yep.
Something
on the two
simple
things that
you're
I
able
bought,
to do yourself.
Yeah, for $15, I bought that cassette player, and for $3 within the past few
Jess.
months, I bought a mini disc player. Hey, Jessica. And both of the problems, rubber belts have gone bad. They become gooey, and they still sell them on eBay. You can buy them for like a few bucks. The tape player is worth $500 now, especially in the shape it is. Has not even a scratch on it, and the mini disc player is like almost $200.
Oh wow!
Yeah, because it's a recorder, and those are rare. So yeah,
my dad had had 2 cassette slots. You could put like an actual album, like Ozzy or something. He made me like Black Sabbath tapes. He would just like record it onto a blank tape. Give me it was like real sick.
Oh, dude,
That's So I remember, so like you, like Mo, you kind of hit on it where it used to be that people with talent were able to use technology to just like amplify what they had done. That's so like when I go, so I'm a prequel trilogy fan. I do love it, but even when I go back and look,
are great.
I had
Love
that pod. Do you guys remember when LucasArts was actually a thing? The pod racing game from episode 1.
Yes,
on
I
PC.
love that game.
Well, there was a couple. There was Racer's Revenge.
No, this is the very first one.
No, it is
on PS1,
pod
right?
racing.
It was on
Or
PS1,
N64.
Nintendo 64. I had it on computer. So
I had it on computer.
Oh,
yeah,
so
and
good,
so
dude.
it was literally just called. It was literally the Phantom Menace pod racing. That's all it was like, and you got to do all of these different races. I still have it.
Oh, that game was sick. I love that game.
I love that game, but like I'll go back and I'll watch the prequel trilogy every once in a while, and I'm just like, man, why does, because if you look at the CGI that's in Phantom Menace especially, and then you go and you look at like stuff that's made today, and you're just like, bro, you like a good example would be oh gosh, it was right after Infinity War. Not Endgame. Not Endgame. The one in the middle that you didn't. Captain Marvel. The CG. Her hair is CGI in that. And it looked terrible. Yes. Episode 1 Pod Racer. Yes.
That's it.
I love this game.
I played Racer's Revenge way more.
Do you remember? Do you remember the
There
level
it is,
where you
Racer
had 2
Revenge.
levels, and if you weren't paying attention, you'd fall down to the bottom level? You were like in tubes. I hated it, but when I beat it, it made me so happy. It was so
yes.
I love it.
Going back to Lady Gravemaster's point real quick. So not only was LucasArts on the cusp and Lucas
yes.
oh gosh, TDX or whatever like that. There are whole other departments.
THX,
yeah, THX. Not only were they on the cutting edge of everything, sound and animation and video effects, but they also used it to supplement what they were actually doing in live. Live. Nowadays, everything is just on a blue screen or a green screen, and not even the backgrounds. They're not even in real sets anymore. So everything has to be fabricated. That's one of the big reasons behind all of that. But even so, doing those little touches, Lucas always put way more care and way more effort whenever he was actually involved with that, because that was his baby. That was his story.
One of my favorite questions to ask people, and I'll put this to Lady Gravemaster tonight. How many photos do you estimate you've taken on a digital camera?
On a digital camera?
A digital camera, yes.
So remember how I said I'm like a really big super nerd? I still have Polaroid and I still have like mechanical cameras. So digital cameras, I've probably taken about maybe 200. Because so that's probably what about how many I've taken, and that was mostly because when I was active, and even when I was in the reserves after that, I I was like, I need to get better about, because like some of my biggest regrets are not having pictures
I get that.
of where I was. And so I'm like, I got to get better about this. And then of course it would like fall off because it's not my natural inclination to whip out my phone or my camera. Like that's never really been my thing. But I have probably 15 photo albums that have about 600 photos each in them.
Oh, wow.
That's cool. Well, my point is making that to anyone out there, if you've ever taken a photo on a digital camera, there should be a little watermark in the back of it that says George Lucas, because it's thanks to him that you took all of them. Simple as that.
Yes, that is true. Absolutely. Like he does not get enough. He doesn't get enough credit for what he was able to do. And the fact that he signed over his entire company to somebody that he thought he could trust. I put this on my Twitter at one point. Like friends or enemies are not the ones who stab you in the back. Like it's always they're not close enough.
Backstabber in the dictionary. You'll see a picture of Bob Iger right there.
Oh, it's well, and Kathleen Kennedy. Like for her to just sit there and that whole what was it? 2012.
No source material.
Yeah, when she's sitting there and she's like, "We're gonna honor his legacy. We're gonna make sure we do it right. We're gonna," and the whole time,
like he's dead.
Yeah, and then the whole time, she knew exactly what she was gonna do.
But
knew.
They all knew, and they told George right before he signed.
Yes.
And that's why that famous picture, it looks like he has no soul left in his body, because he knew that they were going to take it their own direction.
Yep.
And it's
look what that got them. Look what that got them. They have had that IP for 12 years. 12 years. And what should have been they decanonized the EU, they shuttered LucasArts, they fired everybody that was quote loyal to George. And listen, I'm sorry, I'm not saying Jon Favreau isn't talented, but he doesn't get a pass.
Yeah, no, he doesn't.
It's like when I think people, when Gina Carano said that he told her, apparently, if I'm remembering the interview with Daily Wire correctly, I think that was the one where she was like, he was willing to go in there and be like, no, we need to keep her. And she was like, well, let me see what it is they want me to do. And then that's when they were like, hey, you need to do this struggle session. Hey, you got to do this. Hey, you got to do that. And she was like, no.
I imagine John was just told point blank, this is out of your hands. It's an executive decision.
Absolutely. And so when you hear that Carl Weathers apparently still kept in touch with her afterwards.
Yeah, they had a good relationship.
Yeah, was super devastated that she was kicked off the project and kicked out of Disney. And you just look at it and you're like, she was second to Mando and Baby, because it's Baby Yoda. It's not Grogu. Let's be real.
Yeah. Grogu flopped. Baby Yoda was rockets to the moon.
Yes. So besides Baby Yoda, she was literally your biggest draw for that show. And Disney pulled a Warner Brothers and just shot themselves in the foot. I can't even believe the utter decisions, the decision making that is occurring is so poor. Even just from a basic business perspective, this is not how you handle business. These are incredibly emotional decisions, and it has utterly just obliterated and annihilated not just Star Wars, but all of Lucasfilm.
Yes. And speaking of cuddly little creatures and whipping your dick out for an emotional decision, we have the Power World dev reveals patents at the heart of Nintendo and the Pokemon Company lawsuit, thank you, Mo, and how much money it's being sued for. Power World developer Pocket Bear has provided an update, blah, 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 blah. According to Pocket Bear, Nintendo and the Pokemon Company want 5 million yen each, approximately $65,000, late payment damages, as well as an injunction against Palworld that would block its release. Because remember, the game is still in beta, so they still
and the important part of this whole lawsuit is the injunction, because they're trying to stop it from even coming out.
Yep.
Now, the damages that they're claiming, the $65,000, that's a minimal thing. They want to stop this game from releasing. That's their whole goal.
Yes, it's noted that the patents are around, which revolve around catching Pokemon in a virtual field that is being sued for allegedly infringing. After Palworld's huge launch earlier this year on PC and Xbox, comparisons were made between Palworld's pals and Pokemon, with some accusing Pocket Pair of ripping off Pokemon designs. Rather than file a copyright infringement lawsuit, Nintendo and the Pokemon Company have gone down the patent route.
This is going to be so hard. Like,
then-
I know Nintendo has all the money, but that's going to...
Well, the thing is that under Japanese law, I believe that with their patent filings, like they have a much more substantial case, because Nintendo isn't the kind of company that takes, like, you know, they don't open up a machine gun as far as like trying to go after somebody. They are a sniper that sits there, waits until they have a kill shot, and then boom, Nintendo goes. So there's honestly like precedent to say that Nintendo might get somewhere with this.
Oh yeah, so the patents are listed as follows. It's about aiming and firing some sort of item towards a character in a field. It literally specifies that. Triggering a combat state. The second patent is something about being able to capture creatures in the wild rather than just in a battle setting. And then the third patent is all about riding creatures in an open world and transitioning between those creatures, I guess, in some sort of party.
Yeah, see, but here's the problem. That also describes Arc.
But it does, but here's the thing, is that, like, again, Nintendo, they're filing these patents under Japanese law.
Yeah, because both companies are
And if it's
Japanese.
not a patent, that would mean, previously, that would mean that Nintendo has found a loophole to go back and try to get other games out of their market, because they want the creature collector market.
This is definitely Pokemon trying to bolster Legends Arceus, because that was kind of one of their big titles from the past couple of years, definitely in the Pokemon world. Then it says, one of the other patented questions about riding on top of Pokemon's power also lets players ride pals.
So let me ask you a question. If what is it, Pocket Pair? If they were anything other than a Japanese company and they just decided not to sell to Japan, would those Japanese laws still hold on anywhere else they sell, or is it only for Japanese audiences?
Well, so patent law, from what I understand, and again, I am not a lawyer, this is just from my basic understanding, is it's actually international patent law. So it does extend to other countries that you know, whenever something is sold internationally, they're able to enforce that in other areas as well.
Yeah, I can imagine the only country that would be able to get away with it is China, because they're China.
China doesn't give a fuck.
So you're kind of, so when fun fact, I did not go to law school because it's expensive, but I did do pre-law, and I had to study international law, specifically international patent law, because I was looking at becoming a contract lawyer. And the cases that we studied, so patent law is not automatically international. You either have to, this is why I think they're doing the patent route, is because you have to have a case that creates precedent. Yeah, check legal mindset. There you go.
Yeah.
So you have to have a case that creates precedent, but like it's more of a courtesy, like that France would recognize Japan's patent,
right?
Unless somebody in France developed a game, and then Japan was like, "Hey, that's ours," and then you get the very tricky. It's like, okay, well, whose country are you going to hear the patent case in? And like it all comes down to like favorability, how the courts are, and how the court rules. And then if it's France versus Japan, because I think there was actually a France, if I'm remembering correctly, it was like France versus South Korea, and it really depends on what country hears the case, how that case goes, and then whether or not the individuals in the other country are going to listen to it or not. Like that
So
is
it should be worth noting that these patents were all applied for and filed after the release of Power World. And I did a little bit of deep diving just to confirm this. It seems that Nintendo and Pokemon are trying to retroactively attach these patents to older ones so that it seems like it's all part of the same thing.
Yep, that's what Disney. That's what Disney does with Mickey Mouse.
Yeah,
that's why they had to let go, because Steamboat Willie is not Mickey Mouse, so they couldn't retroactively continue their patents on Steamboat Willie because it's Steamboat Willie, even though it is Mickey. It's not.
The design is Mickey,
yes,
but he's distinctly a different character.
Yes, so they had to let go of Steamboat Willie, but they still have Mickey Mouse. It's just like with Winnie the Pooh, because it is a book. It's based on an IP from a book. That book went into the rights for that went into public domain. Yes. And so because of that, Disney no longer. That's why we have those horror films now.
Those
are very cursed. Very cursed.
Yeah, the Blood and Honey or whatever it is. And
I watched. And they've got a Pinocchio one that's coming out.
That's coming out. Yeah, because all of those copyrights are starting to expire. That's why
Mousetrap one too.
Did they?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I know that's why. I know that's why they redid. So that's why they're redoing Snow White. That's why they redid. Whenever anybody why are they doing all of these live actions out of? Because people are like, why don't you make the live action in the order that you made the animated film? So something that is original IP to Disney, they don't own it in perpetuity, but it's going to be much easier for them to sort of reinvigorate their claim on it, right?
If it goes to court, they're more likely to lean in Disney's favor because they did create the product.
Exactly.
And that's why they don't care if something like Mufasa actually makes money or not.
Yes.
It's more about renewing their copyright.
Exactly.
And making sure that they still hold the name, hold the character.
Yep. Absolutely.
So just to round out the article, it says Pocket Bear has vowed to take on Nintendo and the Pokemon Company in court, saying we will continue to assert a position in this case through future legal proceedings. Patent experts have said Nintendo and the Pokemon Company's lawsuit against Pocket Bear is evidence of the threat posed by Power World, which has since gone on to launch on PS5. And it just goes to quickly on to mention Pocket Bear acts swiftly to capitalize on Power World's breakout success, signing a deal with Sony to form a new business called Power World Entertainment that's tasked with expanding the IP. So I can imagine that even if Power World fails because of this suit, that's not the end of Pocket Bear or the Power World IP.
Right.
Definitely not. And all this is doing is giving more notoriety and honestly more, for lack of a better, like more ammunition to Power World and Power World Entertainment, because this, like the article said, this is proof that what they probably did was they laughed it off. They were like, "Oh, it's no big deal." That's horrifying. They were like, but Nintendo was probably like, "It's not a big deal. It can't compete with us." And then it did compete with them, and now they're trying to shut it down.
Well, I mean, the thing is, it competed with them as far as like sales go, but it's a completely different style of game. And I would, as a non-lawyer, make the argument that it's different enough that if they can't go after them under copyright, they shouldn't be able to file the patents for mechanics, because what they're trying to do is corner the market on creature collectors.
Yeah. Which, I said, would affect Ark too.
Yeah, exactly. There's numerous games that it would affect. Right, because their patents specifically cited capturing a creature with a spherical object.
I think it was something along those lines, and it has to trigger a combat state as well.
Yeah, but the later patent that we saw that they filed said that it was like outside of combat.
So so there's two different ones. One is kind of just sort of covering the whole slate. So one of them is capturing them in an open world, which more applies to Legends Arceus, and then the other one was throwing the ball, which triggers a combat state, and then you capture it, so on and so forth.
Yeah, it's and the 3-star like check system, stuff like that. Like they did the classic Nintendo of, like I said, it's a sniper shot of looking and trying to find the most like minute thing that they're able to hit and be like, boom, this thing is ours now.
Okay, so we're going to move on to you continue on the Gravemaster while I pull this up.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say I can't, because like, yeah, the way that patents work is like if they get approved, they're like literally before and after the patent. They do retroactivate.
Yes.
So I'm trying to think, because proven. So like Digimon, but now I'm trying to think, what were the Tamagotchi pet?
Yeah, Tamagotchi.
So like those preceded Pokemon by like a lot. And so did oh gosh, now I'm trying to like go back. Zoids. I know they're technically mechanical, but like you're just it would devastate. And now granted, a lot of these are Japanese are a lot of Japanese properties anyway, but so like you're hurting your fellow countrymen.
Well, but like, that's the thing, right? Like Nintendo doesn't care because Nintendo, like, they're bastards whenever it comes to this kind of stuff.
Oh, I know that. Like, I've never,
and I love Nintendo, but
I don't do the trailer reactions. Like that was, I got a strike on my channel, and it was a warning, but I was like, bruh, Nintendo, what are you doing? I'm trying to help. And so like, I don't touch any Nintendo, like, not advertising, but you know what I mean? Like any of their promotional material.
Right.
I do not touch that with a 10-foot pole. They can't really get you on gameplay. Like the reason you're able to play it, for anybody that didn't know,
but they tried.
They do try, but they can't, because even if it is a set storyline, as long as, and especially if you're talking, the reason that they can't nag you is because not everybody's playthrough is identical.
Yeah.
Not like it's not an identical playthrough, so they can't actually like nail you. But that doesn't stop them from trying. That is for sure. And
they attempt a claim, at least a couple of years ago, they would attempt to claim any time that somebody was streaming a Nintendo property.
Yes, absolutely. And you just kind of want to be like, Nintendo, what do you not understand? This is Xbox. This is literally free advertising for you. Like, why would you? And I think, especially like if you guys, not to get political or anything, but if you listen to the cope that is coming out of like especially Hollywood, because they were like, oh, Joe, like they were trying to say, because Kamala went on a podcast and Trump and Vance went on Joe Rogan, and Kamala didn't go on Rogan, and all those articles like started popping up about how podcasts don't actually move the needle that much.
Oh, they do.
They do.
Rogan podcast absolutely moved the needle. Like I was watching.
Oh yeah.
I was finding tons of clips of man on the street interviews. Why did you vote for Trump? Oh, I watched the Rogan interview, and that was it.
Yeah. And they're trying so hard to downplay that, because just like Nintendo with Pal World, Legacy Media recognizes that this was like they laughed off YouTube and podcasts and stuff like that for too long, and now it's too big to stop.
Well, it was always going to be, with like free speech becoming a thing. Like
that's why they wanted to censor it. Like, have you did you listen to I think it was The View?
Oh my God, yes.
And they were sitting there and they were like, I think it was Joy was like we need censorship on social media now, because and then she listed off a bunch of BS reasons. The truth of it is they want to be able to control the narrative like they did when everything had to come from them.
That's
what
it's always been, is control the narrative, steer the ship. and nobody has any other say.
Speaking of steering the ship,
Did it load?
We're going to move into Indiana Jones and the Great Circle deep dive. So let me know at any point if you want me to pause it. Let's get cracking.
Already better than Dial of Destiny.
Already, yes.
You actually watched it?
I had to.
Oh, couldn't pay me to watch that. Sorry.
What the hell are these graphics?
Yeah.
You're okay with the stalking over it, right?
Yeah,
probably
go
better
for
if we do.
I'm just saying if you want me to pause it so you can make a more clear point.
Yeah. Oh, he just caned the statue. Statue became Abel.
Sorry, Abel. Yeah.
Pretty much. I guess you shouldn't have offered the fattest.
Is that what I think it is? Is that a Yahtzee symbol?
Might be.
In solid gold. No. Okay. Thank goodness.
Well, I mean, they stole it from the Hindus. So
Yeah, I know.
it's like thousands.
It goes. But it's the other way. It's a direct.
So first thing I like to bring a point to is, I mean, we've got the bar in the way, but this is the UI right now, and the only thing there is Indy's health, and that's it.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
As we get into gameplay, I've got a couple of comments, but
Yeah.
I don't like how he's narrating.
Well, you know. Apparently.
Shouldn't you, if you wanted to make it... Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
If you want it to be really immersive and what they're trying to go for, you would look around and things would like point you in the area. You wouldn't have to have him tell you, because you're supposed to be playing him without the UI. So why is he telling you what you should be doing when it's
no,
him?
Malty, it's gaming in 2024.
Yeah, fuck gaming in 2024.
I want to know why this looks like Xbox 360 graphics. That's more my
but
question.
I don't disagree with you.
Impression.
Usually what you do is a bouquet, like where you have focus where everything else goes blurry around the rest of the scene. Like, you know, if you saw something that would get you out of trouble, you laser focus on that. Like, you're just...
So Indy, I wonder if they thought it would be more immersive because, of course, in the only 3 Indiana Jones films, he does, right, like especially in, I know he does it in Ark of the Covenant, but it especially the Last Crusade when he's going through those trials to get to the Grail. He's talking to himself, right? He's saying the penitent man shall pass. The penitent man is humble. He kneels before God. Kneel, right? So he does talk to himself, but so I wonder if they thought that would make it more immersive. When
on the subject of talking, just look at this guard's mouth as he's about to die. Yeah, it's a bit rough.
and like Corey says, like this is the reason that it's not in third person is they're trying to sell you on the narrative that you are Indy and Indy is not his own character.
And
it's all the self-insert shit.
They're also banking on the cutscenes holding up. So
sadly, yes.
They can put all their time and effort and work into that.
So I'm okay with the detective work. I'm okay with that. The detective work first person, but if you're doing the action and repelling and you're like trying to get your whip to swing, that should be third person.
Yes.
Like that.
What do we think about the character model?
The character model looks great.
Right.
The problem is you'll never see it.
Yeah,
because it's first person.
The character model is great, but the fact that it's not 2009 makes it shitty. So
yeah, fair.
Well, if you figure they had to do it off of his face and then de-age him, that probably has something to do with the lack of transfer.
With a priceless relic stock.
So,
I can't make an excuse for anybody else.
R.I.P.
This might be his last role in anything.
The chase is on to uncover the mystery. Joining the chase is Gina, an Italian journalist.
What the actual? What is that?
She got the girl boss haircut.
Have to bring
Her,
in woman.
look at her. Look at that jaw. Go back and look at that jawline. You gotta look.
Mystery.
What the? What is that jawline? Oh, shit.
That's a beardo chin.
She has a sharper jaw than he does.
He does. That's what I'm saying.
crazy.
She,
Lady
like,
G.
what is that jawline?
Dude, it's Armando Sante if he had transitioned.
Superstition.
Everything must be androgynous, and you must consume the
I
sludge.
hate it so much.
Even in the 1930s.
Kill it with fire.
I have to find my sister.
Why does she have? I have to find my sister. Why does she have a side cut? That's not a 30s. This game is supposed to be 1935, right? Or 37.
No, it's 2024, and those are Trump supporters.
Wandering sites around the globe, searching for a set of mysterious artifacts.
So I won't lie, this kind of gives me Dial of Destiny vibes, whatever artifact they're using. It feels like some sort of ancient artifact that's also very, very modern, some sort of circuit or something, you know?
You know, yeah, that looks like the when you pop. Okay, so I am a girl, and so I did have. Did you guys ever? Right? Did you guys ever have like those secret, those like encoder phones? You could get them from Burger King, but they actually work.
So.
Yeah, when you pop the back of them off, that's what it looked like.
Luckily,
The only one I believed in that entire scene was the priest.
Yeah, same.
She's ugly too. What is happening?
Because all women must be androgynous.
Yes, all women.
What the?
All women are ugly.
Gross. What? Why is her neck so thick?
Looks like the chick from Sweet Baby
around
Inc.
the charm and resourcevulness of our
Probably
hero.
is.
You'll be
Self-insert.
thrown into this story-driven journey where Indy must hunt for clues to uncover the Great Circle's mysteries.
What do we have here?
See, I'm okay
Blah, blah,
with
blah, John Williams, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, what was that,
This
Multi?
race for answers will take you to ancient crypts.
I mean,
lost
you could pause it
civilizations,
because
and much more.
we might be missing something. But whenever he picks up the thing, when you're doing the investigative shit, he picks up the letter and he's like, "What do we have here?" I'm okay with him talking to himself like that.
Yeah, for sure.
But not just like, I
that's
have to get out of
narrative-driven
here. How do
story.
I have to get out of here? Maybe that is a way. That takes me out of immersion.
Yeah, like yellow paint highlighting the ways to like walk.
Can they please stop?
Let's just do the Fable 3 route.
Don't talk to me about Fable 3.
Getting Skyrim vibes right there.
Oh, we'll get angry together. Don't worry.
Okay.
Oh yeah. They just keep getting worse.
Platforming.
I think first person was a fucking mistake for this.
Yeah, this is not doing. You know why they
It might
probably
kill
did
the
it?
game.
Yeah, they can't. They probably couldn't.
Maybe a
They
rite of
either
passage for
couldn't get the graphics to sustain for that long with what they were the technology they were using, or they just couldn't afford what Harrison Ford was asking to show his face that much.
I think that's probably more likely. what it
Well,
is.
see, I would disagree with that because if it's third person, you're still looking at the back of his head. So
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, but you can
and-
generally
I
turn
mean,
the camera around.
The thing is, they did say like we wanted you to feel like Indiana Jones, but the thing is, I don't want to feel like Indiana
Oh,
Jones.
that
I
was-
want to
Went
play
into
as
third
Indiana
person there for a
Jones.
second.
it went third person for a second. I like that.
Yeah, so most of the
okay.
traversal stuff, if you're climbing up a ladder or doing this, it'll go to third person.
That's okay. I like that. And
I prefer
the
it be
investigation. Yeah,
I
go ahead.
prefer it be in third person the whole time.
Yeah, me
Oh,
too.
me too.
Yeah.
Because I don't like I am not Indiana Jones.
Right.
I want
Yeah.
to play a game as Indiana Jones.
Right. This works when you're just a character in a
stuff in your
world
reader.
or something, not like an actual person that you know and have seen
Yeah.
and stuff.
Using the whip to distract.
Yeah, cool. Or just wrapped around his neck. Yeah.
Am I
I like how he's not
retarded, or
looking
is
at
this
it.
like
Well,
a Windows 7 era game?
That includes
It really does. It looks like games for Windows will keep me from opening this game.
I understand what they're going for here, but it just doesn't work for me
And
personally.
I will say the one thing I do like is if you do need a hint, they just said it there. The only way you can access the hints is if you go into Indy's camera. So it's not like if you're playing. So a lot of games, if you're doing a puzzle game, after like 5 minutes has elapsed or something, they'll say, I wonder what happens if you place this thing into that hole. So at least it's optional for yourself. If you want a hint, you can go into the camera and check.
Yeah. So the recent Dragon Ball game that came out, they like after you lose on a fight like twice, it's like, hey, lower the difficulty. Like I hate that.
It
shit.
starts as a blank slate, but becomes a detail.
We have Indy's journal here. Sort of
Like,
all
so
the
this is
notes.
what this feels like is somebody took really good outline notes of a game they wanted to play, but the execution to create that game fell very short. Like, there's not enough, there isn't enough here to entice me to play this game, if that makes sense. At least not enough, like, where I think I would actually enjoy myself between the POV and the way that they are executing the story, and that it leans heavily on cutscenes. Because I'm sorry, if all you do is play video games for the cutscenes, then you want a movie, you don't want a video game, so just go watch a movie.
Exactly. And the problem with this franchise is Indiana Jones has not captured the younger generation. Simple as that. He's not popular with sort of Gen Z, Gen Alpha. And if someone like you, Lady Gravemaster, who is a fan of Indiana Jones, doesn't want this game, then who does?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They have a whole lot of that was the problem. Like I said before, these are very emotional, irrational decisions that are being made. And like, why would you close LucasArts? Why would you decanonize the EU? Why would you and then rip it off and claim you had no source material to work with? And it's too ambitious for available talent. Exactly, Bobby.
Yep.
So like, why? Like, you fired all of the talented people. You shuttered your productive, revenue generating portions of the company, and
Pitfall.
And you destroyed your own company. Why? Because you weren't the one that built it, and you're jealous and petty like that. Because that's what it comes across as with Kennedy. Like, it has to be her stories. Her stories are better, but the world, not just America, but the world has resoundingly rejected her vision.
Yes.
Yep.
Well,
And
not
because
to be
George is an old straight white male, and it's time for a new generation and a new wave and break the glass ceiling. And,
and that's the whole thing. She dismissed and was like, we're done. Like, she completely and totally ignored the fact that there were plenty of young women and men who were in the Star Wars fandom, and they got brought in deeper because of the prequel trilogy. And so whereas you had the OT for like the Gen Xers and stuff like that, millennials and Gen Z and even some like younger Gen Xers, they got to go see. Maybe they missed the OT in theaters, but they got to see the prequels in theaters, and so it just perpetuated that love of like the storytelling and everything like that.
Yeah.
So
and that's the thing with Indiana Jones. This new generation, what have they had? Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and Dial of Destiny. So,
well, as a member of Gen Z myself, if I had not been raised in a household where my parents made sure I saw good media, then I'm not sure this new stuff would draw me in that much to the genre. I really don't. It's not too attractive.
No, it wouldn't.
It's not.
And Kathleen Kennedy was so quick to disparage and negate and dismiss the existing Star Wars fandom because she assumed they were all old straight white males who were over 50 years old. And I mean, she made that from Galaxy's Edge. She literally made the statement, like, we have more stories to tell going forward than what's behind us. So let's not make it for the existing Star Wars fan, but the fans that like the future
and then
fan.
you take it over to Disney and the sort of gaming side of things, and they don't really care about the IP they're shelling out. They just, so for instance, with like Spider-Man, they just sold that to Insomniac Games. Here you go, we'll take our 30%. Thank you very much, and that's it. They don't care about the quality of the product, how it looks. They just want that money at the end of the day. That's it.
Yep. They want their investors to be happy so that they keep investing. They want their shareholders to be happy so that they don't vote them out or vote against them or anything like that.
Mhm.
And they want to be able to control the board. Like they do not care. They are a soulless entity. And you know what? Freaking Tolkien knew what he was doing when he said when he wrote in that you are never allowed to sell to Disney. But then they sold to Amazon, so it's not like it matters.
Well,
But the thing is, none of these corporations are profit driven; they're ideologically driven.
Yeah, now they
and
are.
That's the
some of them
problem
are,
that
some
we
of them
have.
aren't. Yeah.
Well, I would say that most of them are ideologically driven.
Universal. Oh, sorry.
Well, I was just going to say that they're trying to shape the next group coming up that is going to be the audience, and that's where you get the modern audience thing.
Yep.
Yes.
Exactly.
But we passed the 1 hour mark. I would like to give Lady G the chance to hop off if you need to.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I
No, it's
have
no
to drop
problem at
off
all.
early. This was so much fun. I'm sorry that we didn't get to the other topics, but I had a blast talking about tube TVs and 8-tracks and stuff like that. Like, I love that shit.
You opened up Pandora's box on that one.
It really
like
did.
a Cenobite should have popped out when you said that. So I'm sorry.
No,
Is there anything you'd like to shout out or plug or anything?
Well, firstly, thank you for having me on, chat. I
Yes.
appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. And this was so much fun. I had a blast. I love talking about good stuff and funny stuff. Watch out for monkeys if you're in South Carolina. Run the other way because you never know. But you can find me on YouTube and over on X under Lady Gravemaster. I tend to be really unfiltered over on X, and sometimes here on YouTube. It just depends.
She's got great takes over on X, so be sure and go follow her if you
That's
haven't.
why I
That's what
always
we like
love
to hear.
looking at your page, always based and very insightful. So,
Oh, I appreciate it.
Well,
Lady
panel
G,
chat, a salute to Lady Gravemaster, and thank you very much for
Great
coming
to
on.
meet you. Great to talk to you.
Thank you, boys. Chat.
Pleasure to meet you.
Have a great night. Thank you. It was
Have a
great
good
to
one.
talk to all of you. Bye.
Good
Have a
night.
good one.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Right then, lads. Should we get back to this trailer then? Oh, that's just me.
Yeah, that's
Whoa.
Hey guys.
I think you're abusing your power here on this.
No,
stream.
not that one.
The trailer you're
What it
living in
says.
or the trailer we were watching?
Well, no, it's a bit of both. It's Monday.
Oh, there she is.
So back to Liz. Indiana Jones.
It's about where to head next. Your travels will inevitably take you into restricted areas. That's where disguises come in.
I hope they fit.
Yeah, like they're trying really hard to make this something you care about, but like I don't care about the trailer, so I can't imagine I would care about the gameplay.
Yeah, it does feel like they're trying to do something akin to the movies.
Yeah, they're trying very hard, but they're missing the mark.
This is
And
kind
that's
of being a hit with
definitely
people that know
Raiders vibes
nothing
there,
about the
yeah.
movies though.
Good boy.
Just washed half of that shit out.
And of course, there's the whip, Indy's most important tool. It's a powerful weapon in combat and a crucial tool for traversing.
Now they could do a lot with the whip that could make it more attractive, but again, it just feels like it misses the mark. It feels like they have these highlighted cinematic moments.
Well,
but-
I was gonna say, once you've whipped someone in the legs 50 times, it might get a bit boring, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're just gonna be spamming that shit in battle.
And then this mechanic I don't like. This having to look for a spear and then launch it into something so that he can swing over. Because you know they're just gonna litter that throughout the game in terms of when you're exploring.
Yeah, that's fucking retarded.
Yeah,
Interactive
they're missing it with this, man. Like it had potential.
Hold up. Hayden, keep on talking. If you just go back 20 seconds, Hayden, finish your thought.
But I was just gonna say this game had potential but I don't think that they're hitting the mark. Like they're doing too much to try to make you feel like Indy rather than playing as Indy. Right? They're doing too much of self-insert shit.
That part right there, Norman. Why do you have to use your whip when he's like well within the range of just going over there with his fucking hands? Right there.
Maybe it's a bit further away than the camera's perspective.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a few feet in between that distance, I would say.
Yeah, so
maybe there's a little gap.
Take a few steps forward.
I don't know.
He's already.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think the ledge seems like it might.
I think it's just the
drop right
perspective,
off.
Multi.
Yeah,
It's further away than it looks.
Could have made it further.
But even then, like
Where's Whip
setting
only have, you know-
setting up the,
Yeah, so
the
he's standing up here, off to the right, and then he's whipping over to the center. Off to.
I guess he's
And is it just me, or is Indy's commentary very monotone and expressionless?
It is. I've found that a
Yeah,
lot.
it's
Like
one of my
Harrison
biggest
Ford
critics.
is not monotone. He goes up and down and he makes
Exactly.
jokes and things. And yeah.
well, but Harrison Ford stopped giving a shit about anything about like 40 years ago.
But I do agree with Isaac. It's a bit too much like what's his fucking name? Troy Baker. Yeah. I think they should have gone with someone no name, someone that you can just attach Indy to, someone that does the voice really well. But Troy Baker.
His mind. Just like Indy, you'll use yours to navigate buried tombs and activate forgotten puzzles while avoiding deadly traps.
Well, he can do that, but he can't get close enough to pull that thing without the whip.
Yeah.
Encryption are just a few of the things you'll need to figure out the solutions. Every puzzle is designed to fit seamlessly into the world. They
What up,
range from
Leon?
smaller challenges, hiding forbidden secrets, to
What's up,
epic
Wop?
obstacles leading
That's
to
not a
ultimate
slur.
Kind of mid.
Yeah, I was gonna say. What's up, Dago?
I didn't want to pronounce all the syllables.
So this is the part I don't really understand. He pulls. It must have already been in his inventory or something, but he just pulls out a bottle of wine from somewhere. So maybe they found that earlier in the tomb or something.
He's about ready to hook up with Marion, so he, she's no basic bitch. You got to do something.
Like they have a cool kind of like vibe that they're going for with this, but it's
That's
not
that is
indie.
very Indiana Jones. Pour wine in a bowl and it reveals a number. I could see that happening in the movie.
Yeah, but like, oh look, there's a wall that very obviously is smack. Like, I
Very
just-
Zelda-ish.
I don't like that at all. Actually, we're in a very sort of, well, I don't want to say medieval, but definitely going back thousands of years into an old tomb, and then we have 19th century walls.
Yeah, I do have to address the statement made about 10 seconds earlier.
That could just
If
be
you
like
pour
small
wine into
crack
a
or
woman, you'll get a number 2.
So we got 3 from the bowl, and then he slides it along to 3.
It's just very basic, like,
yes.
Oh look, puzzles. Like, okay, I get it, but I don't know. It just doesn't. Nothing makes me want to play this game.
It seems like mindless entertainment, but not revolutionary by any means.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It'll be like a junk food popcorn game. That's what it's meant to be, like the movies themselves, I suppose.
Will you outsmart?
Yeah, and if it's $40, I think it's a great deal. I think if it's $70, nobody's gonna buy it.
Is that one of the guys from the movies? It kind of looks like him.
It's trying to be from Raiders. You're talking about this guy right there.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It looks like the guy from Raiders.
They're trying to do a Raiders thing and like whatever.
Or overpower your enemies.
Some member bears.
Yeah.
I'm not really looking forward to this. Gotta be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Outsmart foes in stealth, using your environment as your greatest weapon.
It's upsetting because it looks like it could be a lot of fun, but they miss the mark on so many things. It makes me just not want to play it.
Object to distract, stun, or subdue enemies.
Yeah, they haven't been.
Yeah, so you can't do proper stealth takedowns, but if you pick up an object, you can.
Well, I mean that wasn't even like that was just straight up murdering somebody with a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
In a brawl, you need to hold your own with powerful combos, blocks.
It literally looks like a 15, maybe even longer year-old game. Like it
That's
looks
what I'm saying.
clunky as shit. Like it looks terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Never
like
know
not
how long ago they
smooth
spawned.
at all.
No.
Is critical to landing a knock.
And again, I said this with the whip, but once you've done this 50 times, it's going to get very boring.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And anything within
Makes sense.
Is
why
it
it's gonna be
rated
on
T
Game
for
Pass
teen?
Day one.
creative combat.
I'm not sure. Let me just hover over the start. Yeah, T for teen.
I was just banking a goof because obviously.
Bada boom.
Yeah, my interest is just non-existent.
To avoid sounding an alarm,
Agreed.
you can carry incapacitated enemies into the shadows, out of sight.
Hang on, Leon got it right here.
Now he has a broken jaw.
Yeah, that's it. Bethesda, yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's got Bethesda feel.
Oh yeah, because Todd Howard is a massive fan of Indiana Jones. I can't remember. There's a documentary from quite a while ago, like one of those behind the scenes in Bethesda, and it shows you a photo of Todd's desk, and he's got the idol from Rages of the Lost Ark on his desk.
Yeah.
The ability Lucky Hat gives Indy an extra chance to come back from a fatal blow.
I remember Modern Warfare.
That's stupid. Like, okay, you go put on your hat, and now you're like re-energized. Like that's dumb.
Wicked will never die in this game.
Yeah, it's not like
Just always
spinach
about
to
her hat.
Popeye. It's just a freaking hat.
Yeah, the bitch slap that happened in the middle of that fist fight.
Sometimes you gotta knock them down a peg. You know, it's okay.
Yeah, you just sometimes you gotta smack a bitch.
When the haymaker's coming with the other arm, like, yeah, go ahead.
So here's my question, as we've just seen from Dragon Age: The Veilguard, very much on rails. Do you think this is going to be the same kind of thing when you're
it
into an
totally looks
environment
good.
like this? Do you think you'll be able to take
I
this
haven't
path
seen it.
and that path, or do you think it's very much just go forward and you'll find it eventually?
Well, I think like with this scene that we're looking at right now, if you take the path to the left, you'll find a very like secluded area, and you'll find one thing, and then you'll have to go back to the main path.
Yes.
Like
Yeah,
It seems pretty on rails.
Same thing. Because obviously
yeah,
we're in a city environment right now. Is the city going to be open to you, or is it just you're in this small section?
I think that the city will probably be fairly open, but you'll be restricted in where you're at.
The city will be open like Assassin's Creed 2, and then that wilderness thing will be open like Hellblade.
Yeah, there will be two shops that you can walk into.
I was expecting less than that. Yeah.
Temple of Doom. I just watched that the other night.
Holds up.
Okay,
really
so
did.
the woman in this trailer almost is getting them killed because she touched a sarcophagus. So that's something, right? Like
Something
she
from the
fucked up
movies.
by being stupid and
So the way that the shopkeepers and stuff like that are like going through the streets, like you can tell it's like an on the rails. Okay, this is the moment to buy stuff.
Remember the monkey? You remember the monkey, right?
Mm-hmm. He ate bad figs.
And most of the people that
bad
buy this
dates.
game won't.
Poison dates.
Oh, dates, not figs. Yeah, you're right.
Yes.
I knew what I was talking about.
Yeah, well, we've seen so
Wrong
many
crew.
figs in this trailer. I understand.
I watch a fig every morning.
So
Monday
this
to
looks like an
Friday.
optional activity, some sort of underground fight club. Maybe you can win some money or something. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. Gordon's got it. Very linear structure with open world elements between
Yes.
major plot points.
Which can work for certain games. I mean,
Yeah.
Sure.
Like Deus Ex.
Just like to point out, we're in Rome there, fading out Castel Sant'Angelo. You might have been there in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood.
Yeah, the smaller games, game studios that made Terminator Renaissance and RoboCop, Rogue City.
So good,
they,
so good.
They stayed in their wheelhouse. They said, okay, we're just gonna do this. It's gonna be linear, but it's gonna be fun, and you're gonna enjoy it. And we're gonna stay true to the content.
Oh shit!
I have a feeling it's
Hitting.
gonna be like $70 for this thing, which it shouldn't be. If it's like 30 or
It's gonna
40,
be full
yeah,
price,
I'll buy
yeah.
it. Yeah, that makes a big difference.
Does anyone know if it's coming to Game Pass day one?
Day one Game Pass, yeah.
Oh,
Well, if it is, then I was gonna say they'll announce that right before they release the game,
Mm-hmm.
if they haven't already.
So yeah, this is all muted because there's John Williams behind it, but that's basically just the wrap up of the deep dive. December 9th, Game Pass, Series S and X and S, and Steam. Spring for PS5. So what we thinking, panel? Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
I think it lasts like all
pre-order
time.
bonus.
If you
The
don't
Last
know
Crusade.
if you don't know
pack.
anything about
Never pre-order anything.
Indiana Jones.
Oh,
Especially
look!
when it's
Yeah,
nothing.
you
Not
pre-order,
$70
you get the traveling suit, and you get the
right.
Lion Tamer whip if you pay the extra money to get.
You know, back when he was River Phoenix, rest in peace.
Take my
River
money.
Phoenix.
Oh, but here's the premium edition as well. So as well as those pre-order bonuses, you also
great.
get
Yeah, that's
3
only,
days early access, which means this is the actual release date. The story DLC, Order of the Giants, a digital art book, and the Temple of Doom outfit. So going to be a lot.
And how much is that? 120?
Probably. And then we have
Yeah.
the collector's edition. Comes with a globe that's not the size of an actual globe. This is the Almaca relic that we saw in the trailer, and then all the bonuses that come with the game. And then your Jumbo Steelbook as well.
No,
That'll be
no
$200.
No thanks. I choose
Full game,
money.
$200. There you go. Or just play it for free on Game Pass.
Yep.
I think it's up to us to tell people who might be interested in this because they're huge Indiana Jones fans. These things will not be refundable like Dragon Age: The Veilguard.
Oh God, no. Yeah.
So do not spend your money on it, and don't come crying and complaining and bitching whenever you're just like, I want to return this all. You won't be able to get this shit back. Don't do it.
Wait till the reviews come in from people you trust.
Yeah,
that's what
Precisely.
Yeah, I think the only way I'm getting this game is if the reviews to come out and it's from someone I trust and they say, yeah, the story is really good. If you want Indiana Jones 4, play this game. But other than that, I don't think I'll be getting it.
Yeah, the premium options for that are not worth it at all.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones and the Great Circle Jerk.
Fucking much.
So our final topic of the night, because I like to keep us appraised on all things Rockstar. So Take-Two Interactive did their call, savings call, or investment call, sorry, last week, and they announced a few things. Sort of things like the Borderlands movie was a massive, unadulterated flop, of course, but apparently it did help sell more games. And that Borderlands 4 will be releasing sometime spring 2025 to not compete with GTA 6. So the article here goes on to say it's likely to be the best-selling game of all time, heading charts the world over and sitting at the top of the table for several years, just like its predecessor.
Yeah, but let's be clear. That's because GTA 5 has such a wild online play. That's why people bought it 100 times, because it's been available on every console since the Xbox 360.
Yeah,
and the article goes on to say that presently GTA 6 is coming out fall 2025, per the most recent documentation from Take-Two Interactive, and everyone's betting on October being the release month, as it has been the tradition with most Rockstar games.
I doubt it. I doubt they'll make that window. I mean,
yeah,
because
just
they've been
that,
working on it forever. Like, I don't think they'll make it.
Take-Two seems very confident, and they have already technically delayed it once, so I'm not sure if they want to cope with another blowback of another delay, given that this is GTA 6.
The thing is, they're usually pretty like dead on with whenever they predict a release date, and if they push it back once, that's a rare occurrence. So it's likely that they will have it out, but keep in mind that most of their dev team now is women.
Yes.
So who knows?
And the main reason I wanted to cover this tonight was an interesting article from Grant Taylor Hill. Rockstar once thought the age of Trump would mess with GTA 6. 2018, one of Rockstar's game's co-founders revealed concerns about releasing Grand Theft Auto 6 during Trump's presidency, his original presidency. This was during a GQ interview. Well, the co-founder of one of the most prolific firms in gaming has since moved on. His comments remain, and Donald Trump is now back in the Oval Office less than a year before Grand Theft Auto is expected to be released.
So let me put a qualifier on this. It's a man with a hyphenated last name. Whatever he has to say is stupid. Go ahead.
It's a very word salady quote in here.
Yeah.
So he goes on to say, it's very unclear what we would even do with it, let alone how upset people would get with whatever we did. Both intense liberal progression and intense conservatism are both very militant and very angry. It's scary, but it's also strange. And yet both of them seem occasionally to veer towards the absurd. It's hard to satirize for those reasons. Some of the stuff you see is straightforwardly beyond satire. It would be out of date within 2 minutes. Everything is changing.
What they don't understand is that we enjoy things that are satirical and absurd. And they don't get that. Like, they try to keep that out of things at this point. But that's exactly what we expect from GTA.
Well, they don't understand what satire is. The new writers for this, they don't understand true satire.
Yeah.
It's like true observational comedy. It's something that everyone, whether you disagree or agree with it, you have experienced that before, and you can find a way to laugh at it. That's what satire does. It takes something, it makes it a little bit exaggerated, but also puts it in a different allegory where everyone can agree with it, see what is going on, and find ways to pick and poke and make fun of. But what they're doing, what they have been doing for so fucking long, is just going hard-nosed straight into the paint. I almost guarantee that they're going to have a Donald Trump impersonation in GTA 6.
They will have a Trump president or something like that, some like major politics, like be it a governor, mayor of like the city, something like that. And they'll lean into the far right bullshit.
Well, we already had this from GTA 5. We had Jock Cranley, who was a celebrity Republican running for governor. So
But I'm just saying, like, if they decided to handle it with both levels, both sides, you know, you had the Republican space, what was it? The Republican Space Rangers.
Space Rangers, I think.
Yes, they were hilarious. But you also had interviews where they would talk to actors in Hollywood. They're like, hey, man, I have one of the hardest jobs in the world. I read lines off paper and I have to interpret them. And it was like one of the best channels on GTA 5. Both sides caught the piss. To quote
but the right like was more targeted than the left was.
I mean, there's NPCs that literally walk around and say stupid liberal.
That's why I'm interested in GTA 6, and I'll post this question to Isaac, because GTA 6 is going to be in a largely red state, and so if they do put in this satirized character, how do you think 72 million Americans are going to feel about this?
I think it's going to be pretty polarizing. It is in a red state, in a blue county of a red state, but still, nonetheless, it's going to be interesting to see the response of what people have to say. I think it may affect sales, it may affect popularity, but nonetheless, it's going to be a wipeout anyway that year. It's going to wipe the slate regardless, but still, long-term viability, I don't know.
So politics aside, this is my opinion, and this has always been my opinion, because I used to listen to Opie and Anthony back in the day, and I understand how much sway Laszlo had. Laszlo has not been involved in this game, and that's a problem because he has a biting sense of humor. He is the man that has been a character in the game. He's also been the people that he's went on other people's podcasts and talked to him about the game. And he has not been involved. He said he was trying to help his sister, which God bless him if his sister had cancer and he's trying to help out. Okay, I understand that. But whatever reason he's not in the game, Laszlo was from everything from GTA 3 on, he was the main line. He was the basis of the humor for that game. Whether or not it's woke or not, if Laszlo's not involved, I have like a lot of doubts how good the game's going to be.
Yeah,
because it all
hesitation abound.
Yeah, it has nothing. You know, my problems with GTA 6 have nothing to do with wokeness. I mean, it does, but if there's no Laszlo, I have a really big problem with that because he had a really good sense of humor. Like he would make sure that the left and the right both caught the piss equally.
Well, that's the thing, is people on the right, you know, us conservatives, Christians, Republicans, we enjoy being poked fun at. We like it. We have a sense of humor. We don't get offended and outraged and emotional. But as long as it's fair, when you're obviously biased, that gets old very quickly. So as long as you're
Laszlo
poking
was
fun
also like
equally.
a punching bag himself. Just
Oh,
not-
yeah, that's what I'm
he wasn't-
saying.
He
Yeah,
wasn't
like,
on
Laszlo
one
was-
side or
yeah,
the other.
yeah.
He was just like the butt of every joke
Yeah.
of the radio show that he was on.
But he was the
whether he was a
literal
DJ
secret
or a
sauce for
host.
the GTA series, and the fact that he's
Oh,
not
God.
involved, that's a problem. Period. That's like
The,
saying
the article runs
Yeah.
out with Donald Trump wouldn't take kindly to being mocked in Grand Theft Auto 6. And as Dan Houser explained in 2018, the trends move so quickly that something written in could be taken in bad taste. And then it goes on to say that Trump himself has spoken out against violent video games and the effect they have on young people.
What that tells you is that the game devs that are currently working on GTA 6, they don't understand that no, generally the right does not care if you poke fun as long as you're equal whenever you do it.
They sound
thing
very out of
is-
touch.
Yeah, they're completely out of touch. And you know, the thing is, like, yes, I am against what Trump is saying with games right now, because there's lots of like him and lots of other legislators that are saying like we need to legislate gaming, and it's like, no, you don't. You need to stay the fuck out of it. But for something like this, it's showing that the devs don't understand what the sentiment behind a lot of gaming is, and that worries me.
Mm-hmm. And then the article runs out. It says, let's come back to reality, though. It's also impossible to believe that Donald Trump would derail the launch of GTA 6. If he did, the public opinion of him would probably plummet, given that tens of millions of gamers across the United States have been waiting a decade for GTA 6 to hit the market.
I think it's so stupid to even think that Donald Trump would impact the release of your video game.
Unless
he is like in the game, like a version of him that's like really blown out of proportion
And
like,
also
really
recall too,
woke.
he has a 19-year-old son named Baron that's informing him on
Yes.
things of culture. So he's going to probably be warming up to more of these things as he's on more podcasts and shows, and get less of that boomer type mindset of all video games are bad. I think he's very flexible
even that,
and
it's like-
he's willing to learn and adapt. He's not above that.
He can
And also the reality is this time next year, Donald Trump is going to be neck deep in the presidency, so I don't think he's going to much care about GTA 6.
Right.
Well,
and
and
they did that
same
whole
problem,
roast of
somebody's
Donald
gonna-
Trump. Like he can take a joke. He's made fun of himself in the past.
He pokes
Like,
fun of himself all the time. His
Yeah.
hair, everything. He's like, I'm having a bad hair day. So
he let Jimmy Fallon fluff his
Mhm.
hair like
Yeah. I was gonna
live.
say that.
Well, I
Notice
say
that
live,
clip is never
it
shown
wasn't live,
anymore.
but
And I just
No,
saw on
it's not.
YouTube the
None of
other
them.
day. There was like I think he was on SNL or something, and he was making fun of himself like a long time ago.
Yeah. No, he's always been fine with like the making himself into a joke, but I think that with the dev team that we have for GTA 6,
Yeah,
like
they go
it's
too far with it or something.
Yeah, they're gonna go too far. They're gonna make everything really political, and I know that Trump
They'll
is
give him a
also
Hitler mustache
looking.
or something.
What was that?
So they'll give him a little Hitler mustache or something.
Yeah. He's also looking at, potentially like stopping things in games. And I think that needs
be a terrible
somebody needs to stop that. Like, but we'll see what happens. It's just, it's a dangerous place for them to go into.
Definitely. So let's see. We had one more article to cover tonight, and it's not really an article, it's more the byline on the article that we want to cover. But last week or a couple of days ago, Alyssa McCanty was she left Kotaku, but we all know she was fired.
Yeah.
Totally willingly left Kotaku.
Yeah, because
she was
shoved into the deck.
Just yesterday, her byline appeared on Rolling Stone. RS Gaming Halo 2 is a classic, but it's a development what is a mess. And she goes a lot of behind the scenes, Bungie interviews, and whatever else. Yeah. So my question to the panel is, do you think this is where Alyssa's hanging her hat, or is Rolling Stone throwing her a bone?
They're throwing her a bone 100%. It's literally just, hey, you're a video game writer. We're going to let you write an article for us. I don't think that she's like there, but she has done some maybe freelance work, because we all know Halo 2 was a fucking banger. And
Dude,
we go over to her page, and it's literally the only thing she's done right now. So
yeah,
Halo 2, that released on the original Xbox, and by the end of Xbox 360, those graphics still held up like it was an Xbox 360 release.
Well,
Also,
the
I want
gameplay
to-
held up.
Yeah, well, that too. That was the first time we could dual wield in the Halo franchise. But there's a question that I do want to ask: does Rolling Stone have a gaming division?
yeah, that's what she's writing for, RS Gaming. So
Well, you know, it says that, but how often do they post on this shit, or is it just literally an op-ed piece that they're allowing her to do, talking about a game that's like what, fucking 18 years old now?
So we have one
I was,
today.
I think, was I in middle school whenever Halo?
No,
2
it's
came out?
21
Rolling
years old now. I
Stone-
think Halo 2 is 2003 or 2004, right?
So it looks like the mandate for Rolling Stone Gaming is an article every day.
They've been for the past like several years. They've given out gaming stuff, but it's not from people that we would know as gamers. It's very generic most of the time. Like it's just their hot takes in gaming stuff. So her writing an article for Rolling Stone is like, okay, just generic video game journalist stuff.
Because I think the biggest sort of bet in the rumor mill was that she was off to Canada to start working for Sweet Baby Inc.
Yeah.
I wish that bitch would leave the country.
No,
pay
we
for the
don't.
ticket.
We don't need her at Sweet Baby. That's for sure. We need that to shut down, not to
Yes,
be
we
hiring.
need her to be in there so it quickens the shutting down.
Well, you got to remember,
Pull a
you
Frost.
quicken the shutting down though, and all those employees they spread out and
Yeah,
they
it's almost
form new
better to have them
companies
all
and
in
new
one place
consultancies. And,
that we know is fucking evil.
yeah, Sweet Baby Inc. is kind of turning into a bit of a scapegoat, if I'm honest.
Yeah, obligatory
it's
bridge mention.
The web spray of that circle jerk they've got going on with games journalists, it just infects everything.
Bro, that was what happened with Gamergate version 1. That was when we found out that games journalists and those people were also working with game developers. That was the whole thing that came out of that. And I think a lot of people forget that. Because we discovered them, we found them out, and then they ended up winning because nothing was done.
Let's see here. Just going through Memoir right now, see what we got.
But anybody else? Mo, you've been a little bit quiet. Did you have anything else to say about Alyssa McCunty?
No, uncreative people deserve no, like yay. By the way, my aunt had that exact one right there. Exact one. My dad was like, we're never moving this motherfucker out of here.
Yeah.
Like, he did.
The only thing that's missing for me is the drawers on the bottom.
It's true.
And then we have a couple from the Shit Meme King. That's one of his favorites right there. And then that's for you, Hayden.
That looks like a good burger.
They always get me with the hands up.
At least it's a burger.
Yeah.
This
True.
Well, I think that's it for all the topics tonight. So I'll hand it over to you, Isaac. Thank you for being our Lady Gravemaster Wrangler tonight.
Absolutely. I'm glad it was able to work out. Very pleased with that. And thank you for having me as well. I truly appreciate it. It's a great stream. And I mean, you can find me on YouTube and X, same name, Isaac556x45. I'm doing same old memes and trying to put out more content. So constant improvement every day.
You just passed the, what was it, 1600?
I'm almost at. I'm a few away from 1700 right now. on
Ooh,
X.
very nice.
And so I'm hoping to be at 2000 before the end of the year. That's my goal at the moment. So
You'll get there.
We will see.
Christmas is a heavy month for memeing. You'll get there.
Yeah, yep. Just got to keep the content output. So it's going well. And thank you everyone for your support. Great community here. So,
Yes, best community in the world. Moving down to Naganol, how have you been tonight?
Doing good. Probably It's kind of late. I need to stream more Control though, because Wednesday is actually the 17th anniversary of the first Assassin's Creed game, and I want to play that again on my PlayStation
Is it
3.
really? Oh my
Yeah.
god!
Oh, nice. I'll be tuning in for that one.
That
Definitely.
makes me.
I want to. I mean, if I finish Control probably tomorrow, then hopefully I'll be able to start that Wednesday.
Cool. Moving up to Nerd Slap. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Like I said, just working on stuff for the Nerd Files and streaming over on Kick. I might do another stream tonight. I'm not sure. If not tonight, then tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon. But yeah, other than that, just keeping busy and yeah, glad to be here. It was a great conversation tonight. Glad Isaac and Lady Gravemaster could join us. So yeah.
Cool. Mo, is that BD1 in the background?
It is a variation of. I'm gonna try not to break it. So, my son. Okay.
We can barely hear you whenever you're not looking at the
I
mic.
know,
By the way,
I know. Hold on, it's worth
I-
it. So my son free-handed the. Oh shit!
Oh no!
Oh no!
No!
Oh Jesus!
Oh,
What
God.
done?
It's built like a real droid, so we're okay.
Wait, was that real or is that performative? I was typing to somebody.
That's like when
No,
Harrison
he
Ford with
definitely
the
dropped something.
Millennium Falcon. He just goes, "Oh fuck!"
Oh look,
No,
Nerd
that
Wars
was not
decided to show
performative.
up.
I did not mean to do that. So that
What up,
my son
Erwin?
made that. He's been
How's it
playing
going,
the
Erwin?
Fallen Order game, and he made this
Oh.
freestyle from
I
his
hate
own
that
game.
game.
So
Nice.
Last
Yeah,
minute submission
so-
from Sophie here.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'll be VTuber again next week, Sophie.
Well, you want Drake to like slide into your DMs? Is that what you want?
No, that's rejecting IRL me and embracing VTuber me.
Hey,
which,
Erwin,
base.
I already agreed to put that emote in the GCA. All right, you don't have to try any harder.
The homo. Oh,
I'm looking forward to it.
Sounds good.
What's up,
Malty,
Erwin?
what have you been up to? What happened to your neck pussy? It just jumped off you.
My neck pussy, you know, once I'm done with them, I kind of just push them off. More walking around. I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about, but yeah. We do videos for the GCA every Wednesday, live streams. We've got a lot of stuff working on with the channel, more possibly live streams and premieres that are going to be coming down the pipe in the future. Until then, we're just pumping them out and happy for the group that we've met and the friends that just keep getting enmeshed in with us. That's going to be taken out of context, but whatever. Fuck you guys. I love you.
And finally, Hayden Wayne. Let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me at Hayden Wayne 75 on X and on YouTube. And yeah, I make videos sometimes whenever I find something interesting enough. And yeah, other than that, you can find me here every Monday on Off the Hip and every Wednesday on Late and Gay with the GCA.
Very nice. And finally tonight, after his movie Here fails to cross $10 million at the box office, Tom Hanks seems to be reevaluating his career choices. It doesn't look to be working out too good for you, Tom, does it?
It's obviously
he's gonna
from
try.
Greece. Yes.
The Falcon dazzled us with some superhero skills in the latest trailer for Captain America: New Brave World Order. Shit, sorry, that was the wrong one. Hold on, let me try that again. Nope, not that one either. Hold on.
Like we've seen it before.
And
I
lastly,
really like that one scene.
our fearless leader was kind enough to send us an update from Utah.
No! Oh my! A donkey!
His wheels come off! Oh.
Good night, everybody.
Shout out to ABF.
I can't see! I can't see! Of course you can't fucking see. I just shot a blank in your fucking eyes.
Hey, the truck looks kind of small there, Anton.
This is live. I'm on live TV. Trunk's fine. As you can see, friend, it's not small. It's a big trunk. I'll show you right here.
Well, you got a dead hooker in the trunk.
What? No, it can't be.
Yes, it was. It was a dead hooker.
It wasn't a dead hooker!
Hell, I know a dead hooker when I see one.